What is the state of emulation on the Steam Deck, and why is everybody seeming to like it so much? It's been out for a long time. What did the Steam Deck change? Come along with me and I will tell you some steamy postulation. And yes, noogies will be free. So, what is the state of emulation on the Steam Deck? Well, it seems like everybody is just peeing themselves. It seems like everybody has figured out that the Steam Deck runs tons of emulators very well. And this is great. We now finally have an option that isn't the cost of an actual laptop to bring around with us other than the Nintendo Switch. It seems like a win-win. But why is everybody just gobbling these things up and ready to consume content and excited to do projects and do all this kind of stuff with the Steam Deck versus all the other options that have been out for a long time? So, emulators have been out for a long time, and I don't think they've really caught on because there was no good way to immediately start playing them with the right gear. What I mean by that is, emulators have been on desktops and laptops for a long time, which somewhat makes them portable, but it doesn't have the right feel. If you've ever played a Game Boy game or a Nintendo 64 game on a mouse and keyboard, it just doesn't feel right. But things that are starting to feel better, and why I think the deck has kind of made a catalyst for this whole situation, is because it has the right hardware where you need it. My first theory is the hardware and pricing. The Steam Deck goes from $400 to $650. And the hardware is top-notch. With a Linux system to boot, has really upped the emulation game. But this wasn't how it was portrayed or marketed as. It's just a handheld, which runs a lot of your Steam Deck library, also plays all these emulators. Things start really clicking because it's a dual value. It kind of force feeds you the front end, saying, hey, these are for Steam games, but don't tell anyone, but it also does this pretty well too. Which I guarantee you they knew about before launching this thing. It's just a little bit of that magic. And that magic is why I think everybody's buying in on this. With how good the device itself feels and plays, with the cost breakdown and the Steam Deck OS on top of everything, I think that's why everyone's excited for emulation on the Steam Deck. It runs everything up to the PS3 very well. I've also even seen people running PS4 games, which is just astounding. It will also be a pretty good streaming handheld. So this has a lot of different items going for it, which is why I think there's so much buzz around this, because emulation has been out for a long time. I remember emulating the GameCube back in 2011 on my laptop and being like, whoa, I wish I had a Bluetooth controller, because they didn't really have them back then. Or if they did, I didn't have one. So being able to run this software easily on the Steam Deck is kind of crazy. And it puts all of the old games that might not work, somehow my GameCube still works, on the deck with better performance at some points. This leads me to another point. The Steam Deck is not the only option on the market now, or was not the first either. So why has the Steam Deck gone bananas when other devices haven't really taken off as well as the Steam Deck has? Well, I think the idea is this is not a console aimed at being an emulator, nor is it a Windows or Linux based handheld. This is a Steam portable console. The price point being different for different specs and how well the controls feel, I think is why this piece of hardware is doing so well versus the other things on the market that really paved the way for this to do this well. This also lends us to software. Now, Windows is great and it does so many things very well, but Linux in this idea is, I think, one of the other catalysts that make this so popular with emulation and the modding community, because you're not only getting a machine that runs an open OS that people can mess around in and trying to get other things to work, but you're running zero license. You're running a free OS from Steam that you can download and put onto other machines, and it's not a problem. You're not going to have a watermark or problems with keys. It's just open source. Same thing with the Steam Deck OS. So putting extra software, whatever you want on it, isn't a problem in the first place. No one's trying to stop you. You're saying, yeah, go. Do what you will with the deck. So it's interesting. The deck itself runs tons of emulators very well. Lots of old games have come back to life. The PSP is basically brand new again. All of the old Game Boys, Nintendo DSs, and all of those things are now back in my pocket. Well, I'd have to have really big pants, or realistically in my backpack. And that's where I'm going to be keeping it for right now. I'd like to continue the discussion on emulators on the Steam Deck down in the comments below, and I'd like to see what else you all are thinking about it. How can this get any better? What will Valve do next for the Steam Deck? And why is it so popular? I feel like emulation's been blowing up in the last 2 years based on all of these new devices coming out that can run different emulators on the go versus a laptop, because a laptop just doesn't feel right. But if you know what I know these 2 videos make you feel right. So check them out, and I'll see you all, well, in the next video. So check them out. Yeah, one of these. Free. Comes with pickles. Oh, pickles. Not those sweet pickles. No sweet pickles.